So location as a dimension for equity eligibility and participation. It's really interesting because we look at geo discounts for cash or for salaries from tier 1 markets in the US like SF, New York, to tier 2 to tier 3. We see pretty consistent, roughly 10% drop, 15% drop offs for the cash. But what we're seeing is far larger drop offs for the equity. There is usually a pretty big divide between your salary benchmarks versus your equity benchmarks in different locations.
Well, I think it's a couple functions here. Number one, we already know that there's bigger differentiation in how companies think about equity and incentivizing folks. So that just further exacerbates anytime we see differences between two cities. But then I think the other element is within particularly the tier 1 cities, I believe that there's a higher expectation of equity. And also with RSUs being used as a predominant vehicle in public companies, there's also a mindset around the compensation on it. So I think you have a little bit more of a competitive market and a mindset that really is going to negotiate more around the comp package.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about the US here and different geo discounts, but in the spirit of equity eligibility and participation, if we look to other countries, a lot of countries make it difficult to give equity because of regulatory headwinds or tax implications of receiving equity in different locations, especially illiquid equity. And so I always encourage our clients to think, is the equity even working in certain regions? In parts of Europe, for instance, it's very difficult to give equity. And if it's not working, you might want to look to a different form of long-term incentive or even short-term incentive.